Obama.
Barack Obama doesn't have to spell out his name anymore, just his record.
On issue after issue that is important to the American people, I haven't simply followed, I have led.
From votes for abortion rights to lessening penalties for marijuana use to raising doubts about capital punishment, Obama is a traditional liberal.
I can't think of a tax increase that he didn't embrace.
Still, Republican State Senator Bill Brady considers Obama a friend who was able to work effectively with both parties in Springfield, pushing social welfare and justice legislation.
Republican, independent, or Democrat. He was very willing to ask anyone to help an initiative that he may be pursuing.
Including a bill requiring police to videotape interrogations. Obama overcame opposition from the governor, the police, and members of both parties to pass the bill. But there was something else about his time in Springfield. Out of more than 4,000 votes, Obama voted present, that's the yellow button on the right, some 129 times. A cop-out, say his critics.
That's not yes, that's not no, that's maybe.
You please proceed, Senator Obama.
Obama even voted present on a bill involving sexual abuse that he had sponsored himself, saying he discovered legal questions after its introduction. And yet voting present in Illinois can be used to avoid making a choice.
It's not that unusual for this to occur.
His rise in the current campaign is consistent with what has to be considered a charmed political life.
The hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too.
His speech at the Democratic Convention in 2004 brought even Hillary Clinton out of her seat. And his Senate race took off just as his Republican opponent fell apart.
The Obama phenomenon, it's the wave that just hasn't stopped, that just continues to crest.
Once in Washington, Obama supported efforts to cut dependence on foreign oil, provide relief for wounded soldiers, and he led a successful fight to limit the influence of lobbyists.
A lot of the detail in terms of the disclosure provisions for lobbying really came from Obama.
But there are some questions.
I said very early on I would not take PAC money. I would not take money from federal registered lobbyists.
Not now, but he did accept at least $1.2 million from special interest political action committees for his U.S. Senate campaign, and that helped elect him. He takes credit for battling the nuclear industry, but a plan to improve reporting of radiation leaks was watered down by him, partly due to industry opposition, and never passed. Employees and officials of Exelon, one of the companies involved, contributed almost $270,000 to his presidential and Senate campaigns.
With respect to our nuclear program,
Obama is a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, but he's been absent a lot and has yet to meet the leaders of Britain, Germany, Russia, or even Canada, according to his staff. Because he is so new to the national scene, questions persist about Barack Obama's identity, who he really is. Questions his political opponents will be only too happy to answer this fall.
Thank you.
No flag pin on his lapel, no hand on his heart that one time. Opponents call it unpatriotic. Is he a Muslim? The whispering persists no matter how often Obama debunks it.
I've been going to the same church for 20 years, praising Jesus.
That church is the Trinity United Church of Christ. Self-described as unashamedly black with an emphasis on African culture, the church has been targeted by critics who call it separatist, racist, and anti-Israel.
I consistently have not only befriended the Jewish community, not only have I been strong on Israel, but more importantly, I've been willing to speak out even when it's not comfortable.
Obama has said the church's former pastor and his spiritual mentor, Jeremiah Wright, is like an old uncle who sometimes will say things I don't agree with. Among Wright's pronouncements, that racism is how this country was founded and how this country is still run. A church-related publication saluted Nation of Islam minister Louis Farrakhan, a well-known anti-Semite, who in turn has praised Obama's candidacy as recently as last Sunday.
I love that, brother.
A gesture Obama rejected Tuesday night after some prodding.
There's no formal offer of help from Minister Farrakhan that would involve me rejecting it. But if the word reject, Senator Clinton feels is stronger than the word denounce, then I'm happy to concede the point. And I would reject and denounce.
Obama's long association with a now indicted developer named Tony Rezko could be a liability, An Obama fundraiser from the early 90s, Rezko goes on trial for fraud next week. But his unsavory reputation was well known for years. So it raised eyebrows when Obama and Rezko's wife, Rita, bought property next to each other on Chicago's South Side on the very same day in 2005, even though by then, Tony Rezko was under federal investigation. But no one has charged Obama with wrongdoing, something he has been quick to point out.
And nobody has indicated that in any way were we connected, was I connected with any of the things that he did.
For good measure, Obama has given some $150,000 in Rezko-related campaign contributions to charity. But government watchdogs scratch their heads.
So what we're left with is a question of, really, what was he thinking? And the warning signs to stay away were very clear.
And Obama didn't heed them.
Senator Obama was very slow to walk away from Tony Rezko.
Could it come back to haunt him?
If we have problems in this campaign, I suspect it's not going to be because of mistakes I've made in the past. I think it's going to be mistakes that I make in the future.
His opponents will be waiting. Dean Reynolds, CBS News, Chicago.